Hey, everybody, my name's Gabe. I'm the founder of Detailing Growth. Thank you for tuning in today. I wanted to take some time today to talk to you and give you 10 website improvement tips that you can take and put into action to help improve the lead flow on your website. I talk to business owners day in and day out about their website. They ask me questions consistently. One of the things that I'm always asked is, how can I make my website better? How can I learn to make it look better? What's the best place to have my website built? What platform should I build my website on? So today, I'm going to make something of value to the entire industry. For those of you who do your own website work, here are 10 tips that you can take to improve lead flow. Number one, optimize those call to actions. The first one here is definitely going to be probably one of the most important, and that's going to be that you're going to optimize those CTAs. That's your call to action. You want to make sure that those call to actions are very specific. You don't want them to be generic. You want those call to actions to resonate with your ideal audience, your ideal prospect, or client that's viewing your website. These are some examples of some effective call to actions that you can use. For ceramic coating, you can make that button, get a ceramic coating quote, protect your vehicle now. For paint protection film, it could be help protect my vehicle, help protect my car, get PPF quote now. Get PPF for my Porsche if you're doing manufacturer specific pages on your site. For window tint, it could be darken my windows now, or get me window tint, or it could be cool off my car. We want to make these call to actions compelling, and we want to introduce feeling and emotion into them because that's ultimately what connects with the client subconsciously. Number two is improve your page speed. Load speed is one of the biggest factors in how your page is ranked. If your website loads in less than a second, most people are ready to hit the back button. So you have up to 3 seconds to get it fully loaded, but ultimately you want to make sure that it loads as quickly as possible. You can use tools like Google's Page Speed Monitor. You can use tools like GTmetrix. GTmetrix, that's GTmetrix. That's honestly pretty standard. And the biggest reason for speed is if the page doesn't load quickly, the bots from Google or search engines aren't going to be able to have enough time to crawl the site and crawl the content before they back out and go to the next site related to the subject that they're crawling for. That's an important piece to remember. Page load speed is directly tied to ranking and is going to be directly tied to how many or how well your website converts. Make sure that your website is set up to be very, very fast. And if it isn't, that usually means a few or possibly multiple things. You could have a slow web host. That could be something like a shared hosting plan from GoDaddy or one of these other shared WordPress hosts. It could be unoptimized images where you're putting images on the site without optimizing them, meaning that they're not of the correct size. It's being reshaped and resized live on the page instead of just using the correct size for that asset. Your page speed can be directly affected by CSS, JavaScript, and a combination thereof, how they're presented, and if they've been minified or compressed. There's several things that can go into your page speed, and it's usually not just one thing, it's a combination of a few things. But the biggest one is embedded video content. When people love to use that video content is the hero image or that big load wide full screen when you load up a page. And it shouldn't be playing on mobile. And if it does, it should be one of the last things to load on the page. Prioritize an image to load there first. If you have the ability to use a CDN or content delivery network, it will significantly improve load times on your website because every time your website needs to ping your host, pull a file, render it, and show it, that's increased load time. So using a content delivery network, which most hosts have some type of upgrade for it, or they'll use Cloudflare or Blaze Speed, or they'll have some other CDN that's subcontracted with AWS or Google, and they'll allow you to offload your image and video to a much, much faster network that will significantly improve your page speed and load times. So those are all things to think about. Mobile optimization is huge. More than 70% of the internet is mobile. Mobile internet traffic is now the number one source of traffic in the world. So if your website doesn't favor mobile or you're not using a mobile first design, you're losing. And that is a bona fide fact because 70% of the internet traffic is mobile. For you to prioritize desktop or computer views versus mobile, that's a big missed opportunity. There are specific tools and reports out there that will help you to ensure that your website is mobile friendly and help you to understand what you need to fix if it's broken or needs to be adjusted. But your website needs to display a certain way. And when you look at it on your phone and it doesn't look like a phone-based website, text don't render correctly, they might be overlapping, objects aren't in the right place. All of those things make a huge difference in how your content is going to display on the phone versus the desktop version. A big thing could be super high resolution images are being used on your mobile version that you are now having a negative effect on page speed. Mobile optimization should be a priority. If your website isn't optimized or you think it's slow, that's something that you need to fix. Simplify these contact forms. Simplification of contact forms is one of the biggest things I see people get wrong. They add a bajillion questions to their contact form. And generally, when people are on your website, they're on it to be quick, get off, go back about whatever they were doing the next thing is going to be. Even if they're not actively thinking about, oh, I got to do this quick and leave, that's just how the brain works. Call it TikTok brain. And you want to take the time to make sure that your contact forms are simple. There was a study done, I think it was by HubSpot, that said between 3 and 5 contact fields is the maximum that you want to use. Because if you add more, you increase friction. And friction is the enemy of anything related to opt-in or conversion. Typically, what we do and what I suggest is a single field for the name, and I'll label that field first and last name, and one field for email, one field for phone, and then I'll move to service selection as well. They can check off what service that they're interested in. We'll usually also include the year, make, and model, and we'll use one contact form throughout the entire site. So that way, on that contact form, there's going to be ceramic coating, paint protection film, window tint, detailing, and then I might include a message box if they want to include a message. But truthfully, for a landing page, you want to avoid those super complicated forms. You want to make it as simple as possible. Name, email, phone, year, make, and model, service interested in, submit. Don't add anything more than that because that just requires them to think. And they can't autopilot that. And that's kind of the game you're playing with opt-in forms is you're speaking to their subconscious. So it just feels natural. When they submit, boom, you're done. Then, of course, you have to have the opt-in at the bottom of the form that says you understand that we're going to contact you via email and SMS, so on and so forth. And that's a requirement now, by the way. If you don't do that, you cannot remarket them and you cannot text them. That's a full-blown law now, and you will get in deep doo-doo if you skirt that. Number 5 is use chatbots. The next biggest thing are chatbots. Chatbots are huge and they will help get answers to the people on your website. We offer chatbots to people that really want them, and we have several versions of the chatbots that we offer. We have ones that can capture people's information and actively sell to them. We have chatbots that just answer questions, and then we have chatbots that act like a person just to capture their information and then convert them into an appointment. But having a chatbot on your website is extremely important these days. And if you want one of those, we can set you up with one. But one of the biggest reasons is you're going to increase that engagement with your user base. And the chatbot can be set up and trained on your business and your services that are available. So most of them carry a monthly fee. It is what it is. But chatbots give people an option to create instant engagement, and you usually have the ability to give some type of pop-up down at the bottom of the corner of the page or the window, and it can say something, hey, if you have questions, we're here. And out of the website submits for our shop, the amount of people that talk to that chatbot is about 50-50. So whether it's on the web forms or that chatbot, we get about 50% of the leads come through that chatbot. They're either talking to it or they're doing the form. One way or the other, they're going to opt in. But that chatbot is the one that people go to a lot. Make sure you have one on your website, and we could definitely hook you up with one of those as well. Number 6 is social proof with testimonials and reviews. Those are huge. Get a widget on your website that displays your Google reviews. I highly recommend using Google reviews because Google looks at that and they're like, oh, look, they've got testimonials on their website that are actually from their Google listing. That's SEO positive. Get those reviews on the website. It doesn't affect your rankability, but it speaks directly to the prospect that's on the site looking for the right person in the right shop. They want to find the right fit for them, and they want to know that they can trust you. Because if you can't get these people to trust you and you have no way of displaying that, how would they know if they can trust you with their Porsche or their Ferrari or whatever vehicle they have? You have to be able to show these people that you are trustworthy and that you are delivering a fantastic experience. Experience is everything. You have to be delivering a top-notch experience, and you have to let these people know that you're delivering a top-tier experience, and social proof through reviews are one of the best ways you can do that. Get them embedded into your website. You can literally go to reviewsonmywebsite.com and you can sign up with them and you can embed them right onto your site. If you work with us, we take care of that for you automatically. All your newest reviews that get 5 stars will always be embedded and they'll always be updated. You don't have to worry about it. Get them on your website. Number 7 is use high quality images. Get images of the work being done on your website. When you make these pictures, you don't just want shiny cars because the clients don't understand what it takes to get to a shiny car. All they see is glossy and they're like, ooh, there's no subconscious connection to the hard work and the artistry and craft that's related to these services. We want to make sure that they understand that this is being performed at the highest level possible. So we want to document things like you guys washing the car, installing PPF, doing a coating, doing paint correction, installing paint protection film. We want to embed YouTube videos. If you're not embedding your content from YouTube, that's a big missed opportunity for education and expertise showcasing. Getting pictures on your site is one of the most important things that you could do. And you could have the worst looking website out there, but if you've got pictures of you doing the work on the site, it's typically not going to be a problem or less of a problem in terms of building your credibility strictly on related to looking at media. Get those pictures on your site that speaks to the person that is looking for the right shop and they want to know who's doing it, how they're doing it, what the place looks like. You can use your cell phone. You can find a photographer now super easy. You can get on Upwork. That's upwork.com. You can create an account. You can search for local videographers or photographers. You'll be able to find one to set up a regular cadence, come over to your shop at a normal time. Implement SEO best practices. The next big thing is SEO practices. And this is where we could really go down the rabbit hole. What I don't want you to do is get caught up in this too much. If you're not working with an agency, this is the formula for SEO. 1, the content on your website needs to be genuine and it needs to be helpful. It needs to make sense and it needs to be of conversational length and it needs to be easy to read and more than just a few sentences. You're going to want to ideate and talk about the services and things that you do. And you're going to want to combine your services, why people need them, with location and keywords. Here's an example. If I was going to write a blog for my page, I'd write it as why you need paint protection film for your Tesla in Eastern Pennsylvania, or why you want your truck ceramic coated in Pottstown. So that's a great H1 or page title. Then you want to make sure that you work that keyword and location into the rest of the content. You don't need to shove it and stuff it everywhere into the content so it doesn't make sense. But the more clear and value-driven your SEO is, meaning how effectively it's communicated to people what it is that you're selling and where, the better off that SEO is going to do. Now, that's strictly just for on-page strategies. You want to make sure that you've got keywords and location names in page titles. You want to make sure that your metadata is dialed in. You want to make sure that your schema across the website is set up. You can search for schema markup tools. You want to make sure that your descriptions are set per page. You want to make sure that you've got image tags and alternative text set correctly. You want to make sure all of your H2s and H3s, those are heading types. You want to make sure that they all are set up and they make sense for the content on the page. And if you're not sure about that, I'll work on some content that will show you how to do basic SEO. But in general, make sure that your content speaks to your local area plus the keyword, and it effectively makes sense and it explains the service more than just ceramic coating. Protects your car from XYZ. It needs to be more than that. Number 9 is provide value-driven content. Value-driven content is everything. Education. People need to get something from visiting your website if they're doing research. Not only is value-driven content valued by search engines because they're now smart enough to understand what it is, value-driven content is something that your prospect wants. They want to be able to be told what the best coding is. They want to be able to be told what the best PPF is. They want to be able to be told what the best window tint is, why I should tint my car. They want to know 5 reasons why you should have your car tinted. One of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is that they just make the mistake of just explaining services without making it unique and without making it speaking to the ideal prospect or person that's on your website. Value-driven content is everything, and you can get that into your blogs. You can use AI to help assist you. Do not just copy paste AI content onto your site without editing it. That's a huge mistake. Please don't do that. And anybody that has a bit of business sense knows exactly how to read through AI content, and they know when it's super low effort. The biggest thing is to keep your content updated regularly. That means updating something on these pages. It could be a small word change. It could be changing around some of the subheadings. It could be adding images. It could be changing videos. People want to see that your website is actually being worked on, because remember, people don't always buy right out of the gate. They may just come visit your website and then go away. They visit it. They may not be ready. And then they come back 3 months later and see nothing has changed. That sets off like, oh, this is stagnant in my brain. This business might not be paying attention to their online presence. And the other part is Google also knows that when your content has been updated, it needs to recrawl it. And then it's going to send the SEO crawler back around. And when you update content to something that's better than what you had previously, Google values that significantly. Keep your content fresh. Always be touching it. Super, super important. So hopefully this was super helpful for you. I shot this twice and I was annoyed with how it came out first. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to have a listen. Jump down into the comments here. Let me know what you thought. If there's any other topics you'd like me to cover. Hopefully you're listening here on our YouTube channel, or you've seen this in our marketing group. We'd love to hear from you, feedback. Thanks a lot, guys. We appreciate your time. You guys have a good day.